Yo, what's good? You guys saw the title. Let's get into it. Superman review. And first thing I want to say is a full out spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the movie, click on this video immediately. Skedaddle. But yeah, we're here. So I just want to start it off with the initial expectations. So I saw all the trailers. I saw all the audience saying, "Oh, this is the best Superman movie ever." Other like the Zack Snyder fans saying it's trash. So I didn't have no expectations going into this. It was just another DC movie for me. I've been watching a lot of DC movies for a while now, and there's a common trend for it just to be like mediocre or decent. So I guess I was going into that type of mindset, going into the movie just expecting it to be decent, just be like another action flick. But I was wrong, bro. I was wrong. But yeah, let me get into it. There's so much stuff going on in this movie. Just to generalize it for a little bit before I dive into the characters. There's so much stuff going on in this movie. Like every single scene, there's like something going on. I feel like James Gunn didn't want to approach the movie with like Superman backwards origin, kind of like in Man of Steel, how they touch upon his origin. So they really like the first couple like 30 seconds or a minute of the movie, it showed us some dialogue to help you catch up and understand what's going on in this timeline, what's going on with this Superman. And I felt like that was necessary in case, because there's a lot of action, there's a lot of other scenes and information that you may not have know if you're not a comic book geek. Me personally, I don't know a lot about DC in terms of the comic books, so those little lines kind of helped me catch up to where this Earth is with metahumans and stuff. I felt like it was kind of necessary. A lot of the scenes in this movie, it's just back to back. It's just different elements being pulled in and dragged. So you really got to catch on to it because this movie is like a full out train and it's not stopping. It's like each scene is something different. So like if you want to watch this movie again, I feel like you have a great experience because there's a lot of things that you can watch it again and it's like just good replay to watch. But in terms of like the plot wise, I felt like I was all over the place with like each scene. There's just something different happening, and I just felt a little lost in like the beginning 30 minutes of this movie. Also, I got special guest Clutch. Do you want to talk about the movie as well?
For all those people who are unsure about the movie, to be honest, it's a good movie all around, though it can feel fast-paced. For a movie that's 2 hours and 9 minutes, it covers a lot, but it's not too bad of a fast pace where you're like, oh, what's happening or whatever. It's like a nice blend, but I could see where a lot of people would probably say that's the downside of the movie. If you've seen Young Justice or any other DC movie or DC show, you know this is kind of the feel, because you know how it says like let's say Metropolis, and then it cuts to this scene where they're there, and then boom, like maybe like 5 minutes later they're on a different scene and it's like Mars or something. It feels like that every time they're cutting scenes. There's like a different place and stuff like that, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, but thank you, Clutch, for that. I totally agree with him. Like, it's a really fast-paced movie, so you really gotta be on board with everything that's happening. Because like if you're someone that likes to be analytical of it, if you want more origin or backstory or like more explanation of different elements that they put in this movie may not be for you, because James Gunn jumps into this movie and he's just like just adding things left and right, so you really gotta be on pace with it. But yeah, initial expectations, I wasn't expecting a lot. I definitely got a lot more out of it after I come out of the movie, but let's get into the character before I dive more into the plot. So off rip, I think one of the most important characters, obviously the main character is Superman. I kind of like this Superman. I kind of like the interpretation that James Gunn written Superman. Like, I think the best comparison would probably be Man of Steel, Henry Cavill or Cavill, because of the way he plays Superman. A lot of people liked it. I myself enjoyed him playing as Man of Steel, so I think that's like obviously going to be a comparison. Like, I'm not trying to like come after the Zack Snyder fans, not trying to start a war or anything. I'm just saying how I perceive it. But I think that Superman definitely dives more into the hope aspect of what Superman is, of what he represents as a character and as a hero. And I feel like that was really important because they're going back to the source material, they're sticking to more of his values. And Superman, all throughout the movie, he stood to his principles. Like, he was saving animals, he was saving squirrels, he was saving humans. He was just showing that element that this is what Superman's all about, to do good, to stand right by the people of Earth. and I really like that aspect of Superman. I really like how they stayed true to his character. And the Man of Steel, he did that too, but he was more of a serious vibe. And I felt like this Superman gave more elements, gave more emotion that we were able to relate to. So I felt like that was a good point that James Gunn written this Superman about.
So Superman really saved everything. Like, he saved the whole movie. It really felt like Superman was like the inspiration of hope, because literally he minimized damage for like such raw power that he has, and he literally saves everyone. It's like, you know how the Flash is like their saving guy. Well, Superman puts that aspect to his game and literally saves humans. And then when he saved the squirrel that one time, that just shows you that it doesn't matter, animal or human, he's saving you. And of course, the aura moment in the car scene is just crazy.
Facts. That speaks to Superman's like character. Like, it don't matter what you are, bro. As long as you got breath and you living, your organism, you getting saved. So like, it's crazy. But yeah, the aura moment was crazy. We're gonna get into that. His Superman's aura moment a bunch of those times in the movie. I think the cameraman was just doing him a favor. Probably paid him an extra buck or something. But yeah, Superman. I think that Superman's a great Superman, especially to be like. I think this is the start of a new era of DC, and I feel like this movie right here is a great way to start it off, and especially Superman being the lead role of this new era of DC. I feel like this is the perfect type of blend of hope, of being a star hero, and showing that emotion, because that brings people in. Because I felt like Henry Cavill, it was just more serious, so people like that type of tone. But this Superman, he's more comical. He shows more of his emotions, which allow the audience to be more related to him.
This Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman, was a great Superman, and you know how serious and strong he was, showing his strength and stuff like that. But this Superman really touches upon like his hope and saving, like his morale. He's literally like a morale leader, and this is the perfect fit for a start to the Justice League, especially with like the Justice Gang being all over the place. Superman's like, the way they made this Superman is literally the perfection of what you want as a leader. This is a great start for his character.
I completely agree, and I want to touch upon the Justice Gang as you just spoke about it. So the Justice Gang is basically like the pre Justice League, pretty much. Like, they're probably like the base. So you got Green Lantern, Guy Gardner. I think there's a Green Lantern we haven't seen often, or I don't think we've seen him at all in the cinematic universe of DC. So we got Guy Gardner, we had Hawk Girl, and then we had Mr. T, or Mr. Terrific, another character that we don't see a lot in the DC. So I kind of like how James Gunn really went back into the comics, really studied up, and really went back and put characters that we don't see a lot in the movie industry, and put them in the DCU universe. So like, we're gonna have like more fans are gonna have like more appreciation for these characters, especially the way that the actors portrayed them in the movie. First off, I want to get to the leader of the Justice Gang, Guy Gardner. First of all, what is that haircut, bro? But I don't know, bro. Like, that's just his character. But he stuck to his principles. Honestly, he stuck to the way he acted as a character. He was more of a cocky guy, but I feel like that's just Guy Gardner's personality in the comics. And I feel like this actor, I'm not sure what his name was, but I feel like this actor nailed it in terms of how Guy Gardner's supposed to act, his personality, him being stuck up for himself. And this concept of Justice Gang is kind of interesting. I mean, we didn't get a lot of information on it because there's just a bunch of different plots going on, and I don't think James Gunn wanted to relay that information on what the Justice Gang is. Maybe there's going to be like more information on them in a potential sequel to Superman. We don't know yet. But the Justice Gang is like a group of heroes that are actually getting paid to do their work, compared to Superman, who's just doing it for the well-being of others. So that's a concept we actually get into, like heroes that are being paid. That could be like a bigger plot point in later DC movies. They could explore the idea of like heroes that do their job for the government and they get paid for doing it. And you can kind of see it in the way that they guys fight. Like, you saw Guy Gardner flicking off people, just being like an a-hole. And like, it just shows that even with the money, he's not all about the values, about the morals. He's just doing it because it's his job. Compared to Superman, he's doing it because he actually wants to save people. So I felt like that's like a big differential point between the Justice Gang and Superman in the terms of morals as humans, or as morals as heroes. Next up, I want to talk about Hot Girl. I mean, she didn't have a lot of points, or she didn't have a lot of talking points or central role in the movie, but I felt like she was like the more of like the glue of the team in terms of her just being that common sense character. Because Guy Gardner, he's all over the place, and Mr. T obviously wants to butt heads with Guy Gardner because of his cockiness. So I feel like she kind of molded it together. I don't know, bro. You don't really see much of hot girls, or you don't see much of hot girl, and I think the only like other type of hawk person that we see was Hawkman from the Black Adam movie, and they made him kind of cool, bro. They made him have his own joint, and he's like a businessman. He was like leading the place, so like I kind of like how they did it with that. But Hawk Girl, she didn't really get a lot of like time in this movie, so I don't really like have much to say about her. I mean, I'm neutral to her character, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with her in the future. But right now, I don't really have like a lot of information. And then we got finally the third member of the Justice Gang, Mr. T, the GOAT. Yo, Mr. T is pulling up, bro. They give Mr. T a lot of time in this movie, give him a lot of screen time. And I feel like they give him justice, even though I didn't even know what his character was about even before the movie. That's what I'm saying. Like, I went to this movie completely blind. So, like, my expectations were, I wasn't expecting anything. So, like, the stuff that they gave me, it kind of exceeded my expectations because my expectations were so low already. But I like Mr. T as a character. I like his technology, like his attitude. He isn't exactly on the same moral compass as Superman, because you know he did kill that kaiju. Like, he's willing to get his job done, but he also actually cares. He doesn't care to the same extent as Superman trying to save everybody, but he cares to the point where he don't want things to get destroyed to mess up his own life and potentially mess up the lives of others. He actually has some common sense out of the whole gang, and I felt like a lot of people like rocked with him. He had a dope design. He was walking with those J's. I don't know which shoes were those, but those shoes are clean, bro. Red, black, white. He had the clean suit. I don't know, bro. He was just terrific.
Mr. Terrific's scene where he was fighting, and he was protecting Lois Lane. That was dope. That was literally like one of the best scenes in movies.
Yeah, facts. I agree. He was going in crazy. Force field, just showing. He was just flexing his whole bag. So like, it kind of shows that I wasn't expecting Mr. T to be that strong, but like, it shows that the Justice Gang, each of them on their own right, they're pretty strong. Like, if we were to make a tier list, I would probably put those all out of it. The tier list of everyone in that movie, they'd probably be like high B, potentially A, because like they all could hold their own. Like, I saw Mr. T hold his own. Green Lantern, he could hold his own. Hot Girl, she could probably hold her own as well. Like, they all gonna hold their own in their own right. So I kind of like that power scaling that they got going there. And Mr. T was a great side character for the plot as well. He seemed more as a character that like more of like a sidekick to Superman compared to the other people in the Justice Gang. It just seems like it was just like a movie that maybe could have been a sequel to something else, because they had like a lot of chemistry there. So I don't know, maybe James Gunn could give us some more information on that if they make a sequel or whatnot. But yeah, that's all I got for the Justice Gang. Alright, so next character I want to get into, probably the best acting, like the best actor of this movie. I'm gonna get into Lex Luthor. Apologies, I don't know the actor's name either, but I feel like this actor acted as Lex very well. I feel like he was one of the best Lex Luthors that we've had in a while, maybe even potentially the best Lex Luthor that we've seen in the DCU. He acted like Lex to the T, bro. Ultimate D1 Superman hater. Like, the things he was doing in this movie just translated to how much this character hates Superman in the comics. And I felt like he played his role well, especially with the emotion on his face. Like, he just showed every fiber in his body that he wanted Superman dead. And like, there's just so many great scenes that exemplified this type of persona of Lex Luthor. Especially, for example, one of the plot points was that he made Ultraman as a clone of Superman to kill Superman. Like, how do you find a sample of Superman's DNA from a piece of his battles? Like, you had to be looking for that joint for days. So like, that just shows his dedication to his cause. It shows that he really wanted to defeat Superman. He went to his own hideout, Fortress of Solitude, killed his robot friends just for the information, just to play the message across the world that Superman is a bad person. Like, he really wanted to shape that persona that Superman's a horrible person, and Lex Luthor is willing to do anything to get his way.
The movie is only as good as its villains, and when you have obsessed villain like how Lex Luthor is to Superman, it makes a great movie. The acting by the actor is great. And another thing that is similar is the Reverse Flash and Flash. Like everyone loves Harrison Wells as the Reverse Flash or whatever, or Ebert Thawne. His obsession with the Flash made him such a great villain, and those parts of the show are just the best parts of the show. Just how Lex Luthor is to Superman. It's a nice blend, a nice obsession of a villain to see. Lex Luthor, Lex Luthor was played really well, for sure.
Yeah, and Superman even talks about how some of that obsession was shown in the movie. He said Superman was like, "You're starting to see like you're kind of obsessed with me, Lex." So like it just shows that Lex is really obsessed with defeating Superman at all costs, which is literally goes back to his comic book character. Literally goes back to his persona, and I felt like this actor did a really good job on Lex Luthor, especially the monologue of how this Lex Luthor potentially thought he was the main character of this story. He wanted the world to revolve around him. He wanted everyone to follow in his footsteps, and he felt like Superman was distracting the world from his greatness, his genius. And that monologue just shows that he just had the ability, the willingness to go to the lengths to get what he wants, to get what he desires. I mean, yes, Lex Luthor was an evil villain, but he thought what he was doing was right. He thought that what he's doing was towards the benefit of the good of the world. So when the villains really have that complex mindset that whether they believe they're doing is right, or they believe they're doing is for the sake of the world and for the sanity of himself, it just shows that complexity of Lex Luthor as a character. It shows that he's willing to go to any lengths to achieve his goals. And Superman was going to any lengths to achieve his goals, to save as many people as he can. So even though they're both two sides of a coin, if you flip it, it's still gonna land on one side. So it just shows that the world had to flip their view of Superman after Lex got exposed, but before then Lex Luthor easily flipped the scene. So it's really just how you see the story, how you perceive it. But Lex Luthor was a great actor, or the actor was a great fit for this character. I felt like he showed a lot of emotion, he showed a lot of anger. Definitely gotta be some memes in terms of some scenes that he showed, but overall I felt like he acted the best for his character.
He doesn't have the most rugged or masculine look for like a Lex Luthor or anything. Like if you're thinking like, oh, this guy doesn't look too serious to play a villain. But the thing is, he makes up for it in literally every other way, and it made us see that this guy is a villain. Like it was a good blend. It was funny. It was a good blend to Lex Luthor.
Honestly, there's like a ton of characters in this whole movie, and like I don't want to go into a full depth analysis on every single character. So I mean, I'm just gonna like say my piece on like some of these characters. Lois Lane, she was alright. I mean, obviously one of the better Lois Lanes that we've had. I felt like she was more real with it. Like she was actually kind of skeptical, and like she actually wanted to like publish the truth by all means. So respect to her on that. In terms of her towards the plot, I mean, she just did Lois things. So like I don't know, there's not much to talk about her. Metamorpho, another character that I don't have much to talk about because they didn't give a lot of information on him. James Gunn just threw in the movie, said what he does, and pretty much it. I mean, in terms of, I thought his voice was gonna be deeper, but like I'm fine with what we got. I wasn't really expecting anything out of him. So another character that I feel like was just in the movie for a specific role, and that was it. Jimmy the Playboy Jimmy. He was risen up about even trying, bro. He didn't understand like what he was doing. That's just straight or something, I don't know. But yeah, Lex and his ex-girlfriend or whatever. I feel like another character that probably won't be memorable for me and towards the future. Especially Jimmy. I feel like these characters didn't really do a lot for the movie in terms of the plot and the progression of the story. I mean, yeah, they helped towards the end, but other than that, I really didn't find them memorable. Was there any other characters that I'm missing? Mom and Dad of Superman. I kind of liked how they're more down to earth, realistically. Showing that Superman, even though he was an alien that came from space, he came down to a family that was probably gonna be more realistic. And I feel like that was that aspect that connected to the audience, because like a lot of people in this world might have parents like that, loving parents like that. So like I felt like that was more relatable and show us that Superman, he's all like Superman had all these great powers and stuff, but at the end of the day, he was still raised by loving parents, and that kind of showed that little human side of him, and that's how we related to, especially the heartfelt moment between Superman and his dad. That was like a powerful moment because he was teaching him a lesson and helping Superman get back on his feet after he just needed to bounce back. So I respect moments like that in movies. And lastly, can we talk about I respect this character the most out of anyone in this movie. Yo, can we talk about that one Indian dude, bro? He met Superman like once or twice, and bro was ready to die for him, bro. This dude said, I don't got no family, no friends, no family, no nothing, no kids. I'm ready to die for this mission, bro. Like, this dude, D1 respect, bro. Like, I know Superman don't even know his name for real like that. You don't know he was tight with that, but he is ready for the cause. He was like, I'm with Superman day one, bro. I was like, that's respect right there. You don't see that every day. That's loyalty. Like, dang, bro. Got me high. Like, it's crazy. Like, that dude died for the cause. Respect to his family. I'll wait down no family. Respect to that man, bro. Like, we need to get a memorial for him in the second one or something. Start the second movie out with a memorial for that Indian guy, because that dude was on timing. Respect for Superman day one. He was ready. Verified. Valid. He was ready, bruh. And I respect that. But yeah, Lex had to snuff him out because Lex is Snake or whatever. But that dude, I don't know who that dude was. I'm going to go look him up after this review. I'm going to see what that character name was. But respect to him, bro. And in terms of like characters, I mean, like, there's a bunch of other characters in the movie. Like, we could talk about that alien that they let free. I mean, he was there for like literally like 5 minutes. Just another thing that was thrown into the movie that I felt like probably wasn't needed. But did help explain like the Justice Gang, like how to introduce them and the complexity of their trio. So I guess that kind of helped. It was just like another way to throw in another subplot. But I feel like I dived a lot into the characters. I think I touched all bases. And yo, shout out to that guy from Suits, the black guy from Suits, the guy that owned a firm.
Zane.
Yeah, Zane. Yeah, bro's in two hero movies. It's 2 hero movies in 1 year, bro. Like, if he shows up in Fantastic Four, he going 3 for 3, bro. But yeah, shout out to him. He getting movies now. I like that dude from Suits. He was clean. But yeah, let's get into the plot of the movie. I think you guys noticed by now that the way I was talking about the plot of Superman, it kind of shows you that the plot was all over the place. Like, it was kind of hard for me to identify what the movie was even about, because I mean, it was just new thing after new thing. Like, when we got this idea that Superman is too powerful, he shouldn't be able to perform actions that good across the world without any type of check. So Lex Luthor tried to come up with I forgot what it's called, like Planet Watch, so like he can control what goes on with his own soups, of his own team. And then we also got the other plot of like Superman trying to figure out who he was and his identity with his pre-recorded message from his parents before they passed. And it shows that Lex Luthor figure out how to, Lex Luthor in the help with his sidekick, how to figure out how to recover the lost footage and show that Superman was supposed to conquer the Earth and like bring Krypton back to its former glory, and then kind of had Superman and questioning like what he was meant to be and all that. I mean, at first I really think the message was like, at first I thought the message was legit, because like, Lex Luthor could have tampered it, but like as we went on further and further the movie, I believe that the message was legit, because there's multiple translations and stuff.
Chat. What do you think about if Superman's second half of the message was altered? Because at first, when I first heard that, they got all of it, they translated, or they found a missing piece of it, I thought Lex Luthor just altered it and probably then sent it to everyone else to verify it. So tell me what you guys think in the comments about if it's real or if it's altered. Also, like, a lot of different plot points, especially another plot point of like the Justice Gang. Like, what are they about? Like, who are they funded by? They didn't explain none of that. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff that they're missing, like plot holes in the movie. Like, it's just a lot of information that we're left out with, and just had us a bunch of questions. So hopefully in the sequel they cover that up, if we do get a sequel or not. But if there is a sequel and it covers all the information,
I won't have any complaints with this first movie. But right now, I'm not even sure if we are getting a sequel. So a lot of information there is just like not there. That I feel like some information we need, especially like with a character like Metamorphosis, or whatever his name is, Metamorpho. Like, we don't know anything about that character. If you didn't read the comics, you literally be lost. So Lex Luthor did explain, like, he's like, in one sentence, like, what he does, but like, we don't even know how he got there. We don't even know what he even did to get locked up. So like, it's just information that he's just there for kryptonite, just to be the kryptonite for Superman. I don't even know. Like, just information that we're left out on, and I felt like James Gunn should have had like more build up to these type of characters, because throwing in a bunch of characters just kind of throw everything around, and you just had to keep going with it, going with the flow, even though sometimes you need to slow down and explain more of what's going on.
Also to mention, for people wondering about the movie, this movie is like, it's like thrown into like, not right as Superman becomes Superman, but maybe like a couple years after he's been Superman, so it throws you right into the action. So people like that, like Metamorpho, for example, how he's been trapped in that cage or whatever, it's not going to tell you the story about that, but it's just like you just got thrown into the world, and then boom, you just got to live it how it is. But the thing with Metamorpho is, I like Metamorpho in the comics, but the thing with Metamorpho, what is that kid? Is that a Martian because it's a green baby, or is it just because they just picked the color because he had a child? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that too, because later on you see Metamorpho with some human girl. So I'm like, bro, like, what's going on here, bro? Like, we gotta talk about this, bro. Like, what's up with these aliens getting with these humans? Like, I'm not saying like that might have been his girlfriend or not, I don't know. But like, what's up with these aliens getting with these humans, bro? Like, Grandpa Max, you're not getting away with this, bro. I might need to make a video on you, bro. Grandpa Max from Ben 10, he not alien, but he getting freaky with those aliens. So like, bro, you're not escaping this. And then we got Nick Fury, bro. His wife was getting a scrussy, bro. Like, what's going on? We gotta talk about people getting with these aliens. But oh wait, that dude's not even an alien. He just a metahuman. So I mean, maybe he had the kid before he turned, or maybe he was with the girl before he turned. So like, that might have been justified. I don't know, bro. You're getting freaky out here. Whose baby is that? Facts. We need the answers.
Another big thing is, who is the alien that's driving the ship across the pocket dimension? Who is that? That's what I'm still wondering. It's like a little alien slave. Just drives.
So yeah, I agree. There's a lot of questions that we had after the movie ended, and I felt like, James Gunn was just trying to get us into the action, and I appreciate him for doing that. But there's also some times where I felt like he could explain things a little more, develop the movie a little bit longer. The movie could have been at least like 2 hours and 20 minutes to explain everything. Not explain everything, but at least explain the important things for us to understand what the movie's actually about. Because I was confused on whether the movie is about Superman and Lex Luthor having conflict, Superman being in the public eye, trying to do what's right, Superman's identity. Like, I was confused about all of that because there's just so much going on. Instead of talking about the plot points, we can talk into like what we didn't like about the movie. What do you think you didn't like the most about the movie, Clutch?
Sorry, I think it's kind of, when you said that it should have been like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that, I feel like this movie was either, it had to be the time that it is, otherwise it would have felt like it had to be 2 hours and 9 minutes, or this movie had to been like 3 hours at least, because there was so much stuff to it. But you said what I didn't like about the movie, there wasn't a lot of stuff I didn't like, except like the fact that it just felt like we were going through scene to scene, and it wasn't too bad where I couldn't catch up, but I feel like that's like a standard for a lot of people. But yeah, I got some questions about, like, you know, the aliens and stuff, like whose baby is that, or the writer one. But those simple questions. I think overall the movie was pretty good. And then what I liked about it, I'll just talk about it later.
Yeah, what I didn't like about the movie was like how many like questions that we're left with after the movie is over. Like, I felt like they developed this movie like the DCU has been around for like 5 to 10 years, bro. But like, it threw everything at us at once, so I was just bombarded with things like after that alien got defeated, the kaiju alien got defeated, we're on to the next scene. I'm still trying to figure out how they even got that alien in the first place. They didn't explain none of that. There's just a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of information that I felt like they didn't explain thoroughly, and that just felt like it took away a little bit of the context, took away a little bit of the meat, the soul of the movie. They could have extended the movie to be longer, honestly, But yeah, I just don't like the way it was going scene for scene. Eventually, I adapted to the pace of the movie, and I still enjoyed it a lot. But I just felt like there's some scenes they could have given more information on and could have been more thorough with. Just develop some characters, develop some backstory at least just a little bit, not like a full like segment of 30 minutes or something, maybe like 10 minutes, or just flashbacks or something, just to give a new audience context. Because like if you're going to this blind and you know nothing about Superman, well, first of all, I don't know how you don't know about Superman. It must be living under a rock. But like if you go into this movie and you don't know nothing about Superman, I feel like this movie doesn't do the best job explaining everything thoroughly, especially for those non-comic book readers. Like there's a lot of characters I didn't even know about, like that Hispanic girl, the knives and stuff. I don't know what her name is in the comic books. I don't even know what she about. So like it's just a bunch of stuff like that. I guess we can get into what we did like about the movie. First of all, I like the colors, the color schemes, the different landmarks they use. I liked all about that. Bringing more color back into superhero movies is what makes it stand out. A lot of these superhero movies are like kind of bland with their colors, and it doesn't make them pop. And I feel like that pop factor is what's gonna give people eye candy. It's what's gonna make them motivated and make them more interested in the movie. Because if you're obviously gonna be interested in something you visually find appealing, so obviously that was a great factor. I liked how James Gunn stuck to the source material, bringing back the OG Superman look, and a lot of the outfits of the heroes like Green Lantern, Mr. T, Hawk Girl, and yeah, I just like the designs they went with these characters, the designs that they went with their suits. Another thing I liked about it was the action scenes, and they were showing us a lot of Superman's powers. I think they showed us his frost breath, or X-ray vision, frost breath, his flight, laser beams. And when they showed off his abilities, they didn't overuse them. None of them felt spammy. None of them felt like they're overusing it for a scene. They all used them in their own intended purposes. And I feel like I really like how they like distributed and showed his bag. I really like Lex Luthor's performance in this movie. I liked how he showed his persona, showed his emotion through his character, and they each had their own values, had their own set of obligations. I like the monologue he did. I like the Superman aura farming moment, especially when he saved that girl from the car and she looking back, Superman like in the clouds and stuff, just like he's just flying there, he's levitating there. Like that's just aura, bro. I like Superman's back. That's basically saying Superman's back. I like the fight scene with Ultraman for sure. The twist with Ultraman being Superman, I wasn't expecting that really. And I felt like they could have made it more of an impactful scene, because something like that, Superman being like the strongest hero on planet Earth, and they happened to make a clone of him, I felt like there could have been more impact with that. I remember watching Young Justice, how they kind of made like a clone of Superman a little bit. It's called Superboy, and he kind of has some of his capabilities, and like they could have like, I don't know, but maybe Lex Luthor could dive into that, making Superboy, because Superboy is technically Lex Luthor is he's part Lex Luthor and part Superman, so he has Lex Luthor's intellect, but he has Superman's abilities. So if he was able to connect DNA from Superman, Superboy could be coming in the next one. We don't know. I think that would be kind of dope. But yeah, I like Lex Luthor. I like Ultraman. Ultraman would kind of give me like Black Noir vibes with the mask on, bro. That joint is dope. Yeah, the fight scene between Superman and Lex Luthor shows that Superman couldn't just punch his way through. Lex Luthor actually had the brain inputs in the Ultraman, so Superman actually had to go deep into his bag in order to fight to win that battle. I think he had to dislocate his arm just to win that battle. So it shows this type of strength he had to go through. Crypto was cool. I know I didn't talk about Crypto a lot in this movie, but Crypto served his role. I'm kind of glad he didn't overuse him as a dog or a cute element. Like, he did his part. He was a savage when he needed to. He pulled up when he needed to. Like, attack on the ice fortress, bro. He was there, bro. He was throwing hands. I mean, he didn't do too much. He got bagged up real quick, but like, he was there to scrap. So I respect the Crypto.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects that I liked about the movie. Starting off with the action scenes, like the Ultraman. Even though his reveal wasn't like something I was anticipating. Oh, okay, I understand now. About the questions after the movie about like what I didn't like. The thing about that is it's like a good and a bad, because the good part of it, or the bad part of it, is that there's a lot of unanswered questions. The good part is it makes you invest in the universe, and so it makes you want to see more of the cinematic universe to get those answers, and he kind of like hooks you into this universe. The good part I like about the movie is I like Lex Luthor's acting. I like David Corn's Superman's acting. I like the perfect blend of Crypto and the Justice Gang. They didn't show too much of them to take up spotlight. I like Superman using all of his powers. I like Ultraman. That man was literally dope. I really liked how they used his character, and I was surprised that it was just Clark Kent or Superman, and that was pretty cool. The fight scenes were nice. Like all the fight scenes were nice. The aura farming from Mr. Terrific, the aura farming from Superman, the rising to the sky, which is straight up aura. And then the black hole, he almost falls into a black hole, and then blows himself out with his frost breath. I really like that. The Lex Luthor scenes of how they were fighting Superman 1A, 1A, 1A. And those scenes were nice, and their crew was just getting it too, like they won like the championship, and it was just nice seeing how they had cohesion, and it was just nice to see.
Yeah, that 1A part was an elite. Like, it just showed another point. The Lex Luthor, bro, like, he was really showing his character. Like, he was showing he went depths to this. There's levels to this. He developed that whole scheme to take down Superman. Like, the first time I saw that scheme, I was like, that's a unique scheme of fighting. I've never seen any other villain do something like that. So I like how Lex is able to go out of the box with his intellect, and he was really putting the hands on Superman, bro. When I first saw that first sentence of the Superman movie, that Superman lost, that got me invested in my seat. Cause I'm like, who would beat in Superman? Like, I didn't see General Zod in the cast, so who beat in Superman? So I was like, really got me into the movie. It really just showed like there's always gonna be a challenge for Superman. Like, Superman is the strongest like character, but that doesn't mean that he's not gonna face challenges. Even with a character that was weaker than him, like the technology girl with the nanotech, she still has some tech they're able to like try to choke Superman for like technology or stuff, and he had to come up with a strategy to overcome that. So I kind of like how Superman wasn't like completely invincible, and he actually had to like struggle. He actually had to fight his way out to get the dubs. So going through that like, if he was just invincible, the movie probably would have been pretty boring. Kind of like how they did with the Captain Marvel. Like, she literally had no challenge in her first movie. She was literally no challenge. Like the final conflict of the movie, the final climax, it just wasn't really like fun to watch because the characters she was fighting, she was just one tapping them, bro. So I kind of like how Superman had that element of like he had to overcome the struggle. He had to actually use strategy in order to beat these characters. And those characters are tough, bro. I didn't expect them to hang on that long. So finally, we can get into a little post-credit scenes before we go into the last topic, would be the message. But post-credit scenes, I mean, the post-credit scene, the first one was just Superman and Crypto sitting on the moon watching Earth. It's a cool flick for like Instagram post or whatever. But the second post-credit scene was just Superman and Mr. T talking about a cracked building. So really not much to say, and it's kind of to be expected. The DCU universe is just like rebuilding, so they can't really reveal much if they're still like going into like plot of what they want the direction of the DCU to be. But I would say that the more in the lines of what the end credit scene could have been was like towards the end of the movie where they show Supergirl. Wasn't expecting her to be in the movie, really. I don't know, I'm not sure how I feel about her, like her junkie persona. But maybe that's because I don't know much about her as a character. I never watched the Supergirl series, and I never read her in the comics. So if I do my research, I feel like I'd have some more found or respect for her character. But right now, I don't really seem too interested. But maybe the trailers of the Supergirl movie that they're developing on will prove me otherwise. But Clutch, how did you feel about Supergirl's cameo in this movie?
I told you before when we saw the movie that Supergirl would definitely be in the movies in the end credits, and I was kind of right because she was like near the end of the movie, or she was the end of the movie. The junk part, I was surprised because I watched the CW Supergirl show for like 1 or 2 seasons. She wasn't really like that. She was kind of like pretty much the female version of Superman. You got to do everything right. So I'm kind of curious to see this junk Supergirl or whatever. I'm hoping that she's not a junk because that would make it not as cool. It would kind of be boring because, you know, I'm not really trying to see that. But yeah.
I guess other credits that we could talk about. I mean, Peacemaker had a little intro. or he had a little pop out in the movie. I think that was funny. I think a lot of people in the theaters laughed because it's John Cena. It's John Cena. Like, yeah, Peacemaker. Yeah, Peacemaker is cool, whatever. But we like him because of the actor, John Cena, and John Cena is just a cool bro. So yeah, Justice League, kind of like how the Justice Gang already got the Justice League. Like, they just bought the place out, so we don't know like much about Stag Industries, but they flashed the Stag Industries name out, so at least we know what the name is. So it kind of shows that there's more to come in the DC universe. So it kind of just shows, like Clutch was saying, that we're throwing snippets of what can be, and we're getting invested into this new era. I think there's like some posts that in the Justice League, there's like little cameos of the characters or of heroes that used to be of the Justice League or Justice Gang. Yeah, man, I just felt like this movie was good. The action scenes were good. The drama was there, but not too much, and that's what I liked about it. But like, let's get into the last topic, the message. The message was clearly just hope. I felt that this Superman did the best job at showing us that hope compared to Henry Cavill. Because Henry Cavill, Superman, was like all powerful, all strong, bro. And like, it was just amazing to see, but it wasn't really that relatable. But like, this Superman, he felt more like a human. Like, the way he acted, his emotions, the way he cared about other people, and like how he wanted to do the best to the world. It just gave us that newfound hope for the DC universe, like the newfound hope for this world, bro. Like, there was conflict in the movie. There was a war going on, and obviously that might be a reflection of what's going on in real life or whatever. But like, Superman, he was that hope for the people. Like, those kids raised that flag up, they were putting their hope in him. And like, Superman was like a symbolization of that hope. So it just shows that you gotta have hope. Like it's gonna get tough. But like, Superman's showing that light. He's being that light. He's being that leader for the DCU universe. Like, he's like the hero everyone in the DC universe wants to aspire to be like. And I feel like that's the best qualities for a leader. Someone that's able to go through the toughness, go through the struggle, and able to still come out on top, even when all the struggle might be, even when the world was still against him, he was still willing to do his right. He turned himself in, and it just shows that a testament to his character. So it's a testament to his personality that he's still going to try to be that light for the world when no one wants to see that light bright up. No one wants to see that light turn on. He's still going to try to be that light. I feel like this is a fresh pace of where superhero movies are going, because a lot of superhero movies, they don't have these colorful aspects. They don't have this hope factor. A lot of these superhero movies are just action flicks, and there's like no soul in that. There's no like impactfulness, and that's how I felt with like, well, I'm not trying to throw shade or anything. That's kind of how I felt with like Brave New World. Like, yeah, it was a cool movie to watch, but like, if I'm coming out of that, I'm not amazed or anything. I'm not really getting a big message out of it. It was just another Marvel film, and like, it's just gonna go over my head in 2 to 3 days. But the Superman film, I see people watching this twice, maybe even like 3 times already, and Superman's just being that example of hope. Like, we haven't had a Superman movie in like a decade, bro, and it just shows that impact, because Superman is probably one of the biggest faces of DCU. So him being that light, showing them that hope for those heroes, is what's probably bring the DCU into this next step. It's gonna get more people out watching these DCU movies, because before then, I wasn't really excited for DC movies. Like, all those movies are decent to me. I'll probably just watch them on DVD. But like, this movie really spoke to the younger generation. Really spoke to them to have hope in those people, have hope in this franchise, and just give it a chance. Because like, this movie did well. I can't lie, it did well. There are some flaws, obviously, but I feel like James Gunn can learn from the criticisms, can learn from the comments, and if he decides to make a sequel, maybe potentially brush up on those flaws that he might have made in this one. But I still think this movie did well. I think it's a bright hope and a great step for the direction of the DCU, and I think I would give it an 8 out of 10. I do believe it deserves what it got, like a 7.7 or whatever, but I would definitely rate this 8 out of 10, and I really think this is the direction that DCU needs to go in for the next generation of movies. But yeah, that's pretty much the review. Clutch, if you got any last words?
I gave it an 8.2 out of a 10, and I'm pretty sure the movie's going to be having a sequel, as David Cornsweet is under contract for another movie. So
But yeah, that's pretty much our review. Kind of went along with that one. I haven't made a long video like this in a minute. But let me know how you guys felt about the Superman movie. Let me know how you guys felt about the future of the DCU. What things did you like the most about the Superman movie? What things did you dislike? What things would you would have changed? And what questions do you have after the movie? And who's your favorite character? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys like this review, leave a like. If you want to or not, I don't really care. But I just said my piece. But I'll catch you guys in the next one.
You gotta get back to the fray.
Gotta get back to the fray.